Good evening. My name's Colin Campbell. I'm a Tottenham supporter, Spurs season ticket holder, living in Drummahoe, Northern Ireland. My colleague Paul here today. But before we go any further, Paul, what's been happening?
Yeah, apologies for missing you last week at short notice and cancelling you. Pablo was texting me Tuesday afternoon to see if we were going. Unfortunately, on the 25th of October, I was sitting in this very seat, headed up to the kitchen, finishing up early, thought I was going to be having an afternoon off and taking it easy, and I nearly fainted. And long story short, my heart had went into an irregular rhythm. Rosario called the ambulance. The ambulance was 90 minutes away, no fault of theirs. They're just run off their feet. But thankfully, there was a West Cork rapid response, a guy called Jason Vanderveld, is his name, doctor. He came here, absolutely an astounding man. West Cork is very lucky to have him. He had to defibrillate me in the living room, and then I was taken to hospital for some treatment and and to recover a bit. Sadly, whilst I was in hospital on Sunday the 27th, my wife Rosario's sister Mary passed away. Very, very sad. Mary was a lovely person in and out. I have to say, she leaves a massive void in everybody's life, including her husband Joe, our boys, Arthur, Connor, Rory and Andrew, and of course my wife, her sister Rosario, and Geraldine, Eileen and Finola. So my sincere condolences to them again. We'll be there for you in any way we can in the future. And on that, we're very lucky to have this small platform that we can talk to maybe 100 people in the week or listen to us. And on that, I put in the bio, I put a couple of links to anybody who cares to. Dr. Jason, if you live in the West Cork area, I stay here quite a bit, and this guy is astounding. He might have to come to your doorstep someday. It's basically run on donations, so anybody who wants to donate. And I've also put a link in there for the palliative care unit in Tralee, Kerry Hospice. So yeah, it's if anybody wants to donate, they can get through that. And yes, so there we go. Guys, I want to introduce my friend Pablo, who's with us tonight. Colin will explain to you. He's a Real Madrid fan. I talk with Pablo most Thursday nights while we were meeting, doing another hobby. And anyway, Colin, you want to tell us about why it's okay to have a Real Madrid supporter on with us, or how?
Well, I was going to say very briefly, yeah, before you say anything, like Real don't play in England. Really, we're making an exception, and we think it's the only exception we probably make. Real Madrid, the world's team, possibly the biggest team in the world, and they've had many titanic battles with teams from England in the Champions League, the European Cup before that, and across Europe. And we're very delighted, to have him here. And Pablo will be taking that up with you in a few minutes. We're really glad you're here. I think just to get back on track, if I could just say I had the honour of meeting Mary, lovely lady, and our condolences as well. And we're so sorry for your loss. Paul, it's good to have you back. I will resist the temptation to say, Forest get the third in the table, and look what it does to you.
Yeah.
But, hopefully you'll be around to see them win something.
It has been said many times this week, so it has. It's been said many times this week.
I'll
throw in the puzzler now. I'll do a wee puzzler.
Please.
Okay. I done one last week or the week before when we were on, and nobody gave us any answer. Jump on the comments, guys, and let us know which Premier team are referred to as the villains. Which Premiership team are referred to as? Don't Google it. Jump on. Let us know the crack. If you have any answers, tell us what it is.
Very good. Okay. Right. Well, then we'll just have a quick review of the weekend. And the emerging issues. And there really is one. And Paul, I'm asking you, straightforward question. Are Forest contenders on and off the pitch?
And off. We've lost you there, Colin. We lost you a wee bit there. On and off the pitch. I think we're definitely contenders on the pitch. I think we're making moves off the pitch as well. I think, what do you call this guy from Arsenal? Eru, is it?
Edu or Edu? I'm not sure. Edu, yeah.
Edu. So anyway, we've seemed to have landed him. I think Marinakis has got big. Yeah, I think Marinakis has got big plans for Forest, and he's not a guy money. I think that with Nuno, we have a good manager. He's a tactician. I think that he sets up differently for every game. And as you said, Pablo, when we were chatting just before we went live, any manager that can set up and change his system to combat the team he's looking at, he's facing every week, that's good, because he's not stuck in a rut. And I think there's a lot of teams languishing at the bottom of the league. That's exactly what's wrong. They won't change their routine.
Okay.
Anyway, I don't know. We've a tough run of games coming, guys, and I just hope that Forest aren't a flash in the pan. We've got a lot of tough games, but I'm not really scared of anybody at the minute. I think that we're going well. I felt the other day we could win the game. We did win the game convincingly. We hammered the Hammers 3-0 or 3-1, 3-0.
3-0, yeah.
We're playing Newcastle next week. I don't know. We beat them last year. Hopefully we can beat them again this year. They had a good win there at the weekend, but I don't know. We'll just wait and see. Pablo, just a quick one. I didn't think. Do you follow any Premiership team? Do you have a team in the Premiership that you keep an eye on other than?
That's a great question. I've changed over the years. Well, first of all, thanks for having me, guys. I hope people understand what I say. This is not in Spanish, so I'll be fine in English. I'm delighted to be your first foreign signing. First one you've had. Over the years, I've changed. Look, when I was a young man in Spain, they started showing the English league at the time, and I suppose I started following the Liverpool of John Barnes and those kind of people. Then I eventually, after a few years, I became quite fond of the Chelsea of Vialli and Gullit, but also the Man United of Beckham and Scholes, one of my favorite players. The one I don't like at the moment is City.
Yeah, well,
Guardiola and I don't like each other.
Yeah, I think the City thing it divides minds, and I think once we get the whole thing sorted out with these points, with the charges against them, I think then we'll be able to either like them or continue to dislike them. I don't mind them. I just feel that there's a division in the league with how they're handled, how they're treated compared to other people. Anyway, there we go. That's interesting. So you basically just follow anybody that's good, Pablo. Is that right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Portsmouth Spurs. Well, talking, I think in terms of emerging issues,
Colin.
The middle of the league, or is it the middle of the league now? Spurs and Villa. It interests me that Villa have lost. They lost to Spurs quite badly. They lost early in the year to Arsenal. Is that telling us that they're not really the business? I'm not sure Spurs are either. But down at the bottom, which interests me, Ipswich again are trying to find a way to go down. They were 1-0 up for quite a long time. They lost a match against Brentford.
It's coming in now, Colin. This is the first night we've had this outside the thing. Pablo, can you hear Colin?
Yeah.
I can. He breaks up every now and then, but I can.
Okay, apologies for that. But I just think that Southampton have won, and Ipswich find a way to lose, and I think that it's taking shape down at the bottom. Bournemouth, I thought, might go down, have defied all the odds, my goodness, and they are doing extremely well. And congratulations to them. Good luck to them. And those are really.
They do have a fantastic manager, a really good manager.
Apologies, I lost you there for a minute, guys. I don't know what's going on. My internet's going to be very good.
You would know Areola, isn't it?
Iraola.
Can you tell us anything about him?
He managed a couple of teams in Spain. He always did really well. Excellent manager.
I have a feeling that he may, go elsewhere within the Premiership at some stage. And no offense to Bournemouth, but I think he has really, really. I mean, they lost a lot of their first 4 or 5 games, but you could say it's taken shape. And now, they've beaten Arsenal, they've beaten City, they drew with Aston Villa, they gave Liverpool a good game. All that's pretty impressive, and I will be happy to be wrong with regard to them if they, stay where they are at the moment. So there we go. Well, look, let's get really on then to our very, very VIP special guest. was a supporter of Los Vikingos.
Those Vikingos, yeah, the Vikings.
Lorangas, and so on. What a team. They need no introduction. And you don't really anymore. Okay, Paul, do you want to kick off?
Yeah, Pabs, I didn't watch the Tuesday fortnight ago. I hadn't really sat down and watched Real Madrid. You texted me at half time and you were 2-0 down and you come back and won 5-2. Possibly one of the most exciting 45 minutes of soccer I've ever watched. And I mean that. That young kid, the junior guy, what's his name?
Vinicius.
Oh my God, what an astounding player. And I saw, having watched that, I probably know the answer to the question about you asking. But apart from winning everything, why Real Madrid?
Well, you know I'm from Madrid. So I lived in Madrid until I was 25. So I was a kid in Madrid. I was a teenager in Madrid. I mean, there was absolutely no question what team we would support. The team of the 6 European Cups. You know, it was there on our doorstep. It was a privilege, really. This was the team of Di Stefano, the team of Puskas, the team of Gento. And then when I was a teenager, the team of, I don't know if you've heard of Butragueño.
Oh, yeah.
And 5 consecutive leagues. This was the team, Real Madrid was the team of the comebacks. You see, when people think about these comebacks, like against Dortmund the other day, or against City, or against PSG, and they think, oh, it's luck. It isn't luck. It is hard work. It is belief. I've been seeing comebacks like this for years. I remember when I was a teenager in the old UEFA Cup and they played Borussia Mönchengladbach and they lost 5-1 in Germany. And from the very first second after the referee blew the whistle, they kept saying, the players said, we're going to get them at the Bernabeu. And yeah, they went on to win 4-0. Or against Inter Milan, they lost 4-1 in Milan. And a very famous player, very passionate player called Juanito, coined this famous phrase against an Italian player. He said to him, 90 minuti in el Bernabeu sono molto longo. In broken Italian means 90 minutes at the Bernabeu are very long. Yeah. And they killed Inter 3-0 and they got to the final. Or a year later, I think it was, they lost against Anderlecht in Belgium 3-0 and they thrashed them at the Bernabeu 6-2. So I've been seeing these comebacks from a young age. So they are nothing new to me. It is the team of belief. It is a team that really hard work and they never give up. And that's so. And it was, as I said, it was in my city. It was on our doorstep. So absolutely no question what team we would support.
Excellent.
Very fortunate.
Certainly, if they didn't give up that night, I was watching them anyway.
They never do. They never do. If you look at the stadium when they play games, there is this big sign at the back, and it says Real Madrid hasta el final, until the end. Yeah. And they just don't give up. And you could, I mean, if you saw 2-3 years ago that comeback against City, or against last year against Munich, you see it day in and day out.
Yeah. My father saw them many years ago in the 80s playing at Tenerife. It was a Hugo Porta. Was it Porta played? The Mexican. Who was the Mexican center?
Hugo Sanchez.
Yeah. And he was always. He said it was like nothing he'd ever seen in his life. You know, the whole razzmatazz of Real Madrid. You know, they just do have that. You mentioned the European Cups, as they were the Champions Leagues now. Do Real measure themselves more by their Champions League achievements than their domestic successes? How does that?
Definitely. I mean, the European Cup started with, I think it was France Football, and Bernabeu was very much involved in the start of the whole thing. So absolutely, if you were to ask any Real Madrid supporter, I mean, obviously Real Madrid want to compete in every competition. They want to win every title, like every team. But if you were to ask any Real Madrid fan for one title a year, it would be the Champions League, it would be the European Cup. That's where you measure yourself against the best.
Yeah.
And that's why our president, Florentino Perez, was to start the Super League and start with those games week in and week out. You know, your Real Madrid cities, your Real Madrid Juventus, your Real Madrid Munich. That is the favorite competition. There's no doubt.
Would that be your preferred option? You know.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
My pronunciation probably got it wrong. Colin already referred to it there. The Real fans, they refer to themselves as Los Vikingos, is that right?
The Vikingos, the Vikings, yes.
Have you lost me? Am I still there?
No, I can hear you, the Vikings. You see, I've heard two different versions about that.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, yeah. Can you hear me?
Shocking.
Go ahead, Pablo.
Go ahead,
So
Colin.
yeah, I've heard two different versions about the reasons why Real Madrid fans are called the Vikings. One version says that after winning 5 European Cups in the 50s, there was an article in the newspaper, The Times, and they used that term, the Vikings, because of how, I suppose, Real Madrid had conquered Europe mercilessly. The second version, I like that version, but the second version talks about when they started signing in the late 60s and 70s players from Europe, and even though they were not Scandinavian, but it was fashionable at the time to have this long hair and beard, and Paul Breiner and Netzer and Stilik, and they were nicknamed the Vikings because of the way they looked. I don't know which one of the versions is the right one. I prefer the first one.
I prefer the first one.
The conquering Europe one.
It was the first one I'd heard. I also heard them referred to as the Romans because they conquered Europe regularly,
As well, yeah. And of course, they are called the Meringues because they are white, and the white, obviously.
Yeah, I think it was a very good tribute that Real paid wearing white, as a tribute to Tottenham Hotspur. I do appreciate that.
Well, did you know I think that's why Leeds were white as well.
Yeah, Leeds were
white.
Of
Real Madrid.
Because of Real Madrid, Leeds used to play in blue and yellow, which are their secondary colours. But yeah, they changed under Don Revie. I think in the late 50s, late 60s to all white. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Very much so.
Just do a couple of comments coming up there. Rodri or Vinicius. My Spanish pronunciation is terrible.
Rodri or Vinicius?
Yeah.
I presume they're asking about the Ballon d'Or.
I would say that's coming next. I'd say that's coming next.
Well, definitely Vinicius. I think Rodri deserved the Ballon d'Or last year. He had the most amazing season, and they gave it to Messi. Don't ask me why. And Vinicius was the best player last year, and he deserved it this year, but they didn't give it to him. I've heard a lot about the Ballon d'Or and why Real Madrid didn't go, and people agree or people disagree. I think we need to know more about what happened. What happened is Real Madrid had been told that Vinicius was going to win it,
right?
And they only found out that he wasn't at the very last minute, so they felt that it was a trap set by our friend Seferin. If Real Madrid had been told that Rodri was going to win the Ballon d'Or 2 weeks before, they would have sent people to represent the club.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to feel, entrapped by Seferin and surprised by Seferin. So that's why they didn't send anybody. Not so much because Vinicius didn't win it, but because they were fooled. They were treated with disrespect in that sense. So they said, well, you don't treat us with respect, so we don't go.
All right.
I heard an interesting thing as well. That it's unusual for a midfielder to be given it, Rodri being a midfielder and instead of a centre forward. But
it's unusual. And he's only the second Spaniard to be given the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah. Colin there says, not you, Colin, another Colin, greatest ever champions in 2022. With a poor team for Madrid standards, comeback wins against PSG and Chelsea, then City and beat Liverpool in the final. He's had a great run that year for sure, no doubt about it.
That's what you were saying.
I think that was the best Champions League ever.
Yeah. It's what you're saying. They never give up. They just keep on coming back. I obviously lost you there for a while, guys. I'm not sure what happened.
Just going on, sorry, Pablo, just going to ask you then. How do you get to see them nowadays? There's a TV. I know you no longer live in Madrid.
No, but now you buy tickets online. Usually, tickets come up for sale, say 12 days, 2 weeks before a game, and it's all online, realmadrid.com. And say for league games, what happens is, so say there are 82,000 seats in the stadium, and I don't know how many season ticket holders, say 70,000 for argument's sake. So that leaves 12,000 seats, for sale. So when tickets come up for sale, they come up in 3 stages. For the first 24 hours, only season ticket holders can buy those tickets. So they buy them for friends or relatives or whatever. Then after 24 hours is open to Madridistas, which are people that are members like myself, but they are not season ticket holders. And after 24 hours, whatever hasn't been sold is open then to the general public.
Sure.
So and then obviously season ticket holders can go to the stadium. What they do is they sell their seat back to Real Madrid, and Real Madrid resells it. So for, say, a small games or games against smaller teams, say, I don't know, Valladolid or Rayo Vallecano, any of those teams, it's relatively okay to get a ticket. You just need to be in the queue quick enough, and you are fine. But forget about games against Barcelona or Atletico, or quarterfinals in the Champions League or the semifinals. I mean, those tickets, unless you know somebody who's a season ticket holder, is absolutely impossible. Yeah. So I try to go maybe once every couple of years. Hopefully I'll go in January or February or March this year. But it will have to be a smaller game, maybe a Rayo Vallecano, as I said, Girona, one of those.
Yeah. Excellent. I'm glad to see you're still getting to see them.
Yeah, it's good. It's good that the second tier and the third tier membership can get it, and that's starting to work with Forest as well. I've actually managed to get tickets to go and see the Ipswich game at the end of the month, which I'm looking forward to. We'll do a wee video diary. Dennis McCarthy said the last midfielder to win the Ballon d'Or was Modric, another Madrid legend. Yeah,
3 years ago.
Another Tottenham legend too.
Yeah. See, I don't know when it's the appropriate.
Thanks for giving him to us. Appreciate it.
Well, I don't know when it's appropriate to bring it up. The 2 stars above both are, there'd be
a hell of a lot of stars above.
I know that Real Madrid, but
Pablo's shirt would be weighed down.
How many times have you won it? Do you know, Pablo, off the top of your head?
Say that again.
How many times have you won the European?
The Champions League?
Yeah.
15
times. Wow.
I think the second team is actually Milan that we play against tonight with 7.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Spurs haven't even been in it that number of times. Probably nor of Arsenal. It's a remarkable achievement over the years. Many people of my age, even if I didn't see them, have very, great memories of that early team, Puskás and the team you mentioned. They played a European Cup final at Hampden Park against, I think it was Eintracht Frankfurt. And those were the days when, and those were the days when the 130,000 of it were all from Glasgow. There were locals who got to see these teams. And I remember Kenneth Wolstenholme was a commentator. And it was, when you look at it now, it's a bit quaint because of the speed it's played at. But if you forget about that, you can still see an amazing array of skills. I think Real went 1 or 2 down in that match as well before they. They're very good.
Tell me, Pablo, then in England here, we've got or England here, in Ireland and England, and in the Premiership, we've got all the rivalries. Like you've got the Newcastle, Sunderland, you've got the Spurs, Arsenal, various rivalries. How intense is the Real Barca rivalry? Is it mental? Is it mad?
It's huge. It's huge. Yeah. And you have to realize that in Spain is much more than soccer. You have the whole politics behind and independence and Franco and history and all that. But in terms of soccer, Barcelona are the team that are our biggest rivals. Like I don't think you can be a proper Real Madrid fan and not dislike Barcelona and vice versa. It's just not possible. However, can I say something else? I think there is more hatred from Barcelona towards Real Madrid than the other way around. If you see Real Madrid fans celebrating their titles, they just sing and whatever, they dance and they shout and all that. But when Barcelona win titles, they shout against Real Madrid. That doesn't happen the other way around. It's like we don't care that much. If Barcelona win, we don't like it. But if we win, we don't remember them. We don't care. We just celebrate our titles. You know what I mean? And the same happens with Atletico. I mean, Atletico really hate Real Madrid, and we just don't care that much. I mean, for us, Atletico is like, I don't know, that young brother, young cousin that is a little bit annoying, and beats you sometimes at some games, but you don't really care. The big rival in Spain is certainly Barcelona.
Yeah. It's a bit
and in Europe. Say it again?
It's a bit of Notts County and Nottingham Forest. We don't really worry about them. We just don't care about them. It doesn't matter, it's just Forest.
But that's it,
Yeah.
And in Europe, historically, I would say Milan and Bayern Munich were the biggest rivals. So obviously now it's City. The way they're playing and all the money they have. But historically, Bayern Munich and Milan were and maybe a little bit Juve as well, Juventus.
Yeah.
The three big rivals.
Interesting. Why would people support Atletico rather than Real? Is it a local?
I mean, there is a little bit of a divide in Madrid between North and South, and Atletico were always considered the team of the people, of the workers, kind of more blue collar, if you will, and Real Madrid more white collar. I'll tell you the truth, I can't answer that question. I don't support Atletico. I don't understand the passion. I mean, in Spain, the nickname for Atletico is Patético, as in pathetic, the way they play.
Pathetic, yeah.
It's just, I don't know, they just don't have the spark.
Aye.
They don't have it. Look, I understand that other people support other teams. I totally understand that, and that's fine. But I don't get it. For me,
okay. Right. Well, we mentioned, Pablo, the array of stars, and we're going to be here all night going through Real teams and players. God knows, so many of them will not start, will not be able to stop. Obviously, Bale, Modric, Jonathan Woodgate, also.
Woodgate.
Do you remember Woodgate? He must have played for.
I do remember Woodgate.
Aye. Well,
he got an own goal and he got sent off on his first game after a year injured.
Yeah, and then he got injured. Yeah, and then he came to be injured for Tottenham for a while. But anyway, give me one player. One player. The one player.
My favorite player.
Yeah, favorite player. Not necessarily the best.
I mean, as I said, it's really difficult. I mean, I grew up watching black and white games with Di Stefano. I mean, what a player. And Puskas and Gento. And then later on Amancio. When I was a teenager, I watched Butragueño. I mean, that was the first time I saw magic. I mean, he would have stopped at the edge of the box and allow the defender to come back to him, and then drop off the shoulder, change direction, and it was amazing. The whole stadium would go, it was brilliant. In recent times, obviously, Cristiano, Ronaldo, Modric, Cruz, Benzema. But if I had to choose one player, that would be Zizou. Zinedine Zidane. I mean, the best player I've seen on a pitch. If with Butragueño, I realized that you could see magic playing football. With Zidane, it was art. It was just graceful. It was beautiful to watch that guy so big, so fast. The way he moved, it was like watching ballet. Yeah. So Zidane would be my first 11 always.
Oh, what a player!
Always one of the greatest.
Yeah,
excellent. Well, James Hallie's there saying Laurie Cunningham.
Yeah, that's right. He played.
What a player! We loved Laurie Cunningham. We loved him.
Yeah.
He died. He died in a car crash, didn't he?
He did.
Oh my God! I didn't know that.
Oh, he did. Yeah.
In Spain, I think in the north of Spain, he left Real Madrid, played in a couple of teams in Spain, and then he died in a car crash.
Wow. Well,
we loved him in Madrid. We absolutely adored him.
Yeah.
Good to hear.
Interesting to hear all that. It really is. I'm really enjoying this. Really enjoying it. Pabs, I know you've got an appointment with AC Milan at 8 o'clock, and I don't want to keep you too long. If you can keep it short. I've heard various stories, and I'm interested to hear corruption in the Spanish league. Can you tell us what you know about it? If you know anything, maybe I'm putting.
I look. Of course, I know things. I'll talk about two different things. First of all, the Spanish Soccer Federation. I mean, that is just a joke. When I was a young man, there was a guy called Villar, and he was the president of the Soccer Federation for like 35 years. I mean, he was friends with Platini and Sepp Blatter and all those corrupted people. And Real Madrid opposed him because of that corruption. But obviously, because Real Madrid opposed him, Barcelona supported him. And I recall he was caught having dinner with the Barcelona president and saying to him, "What else can I give you? I've given you everything." I mean, that's the president of the Spanish Soccer Federation. Wow. Eventually, we got rid of him, right? And we thought, okay, we'll get an ex-footballer that will be better. And we got this guy called Rubiales, and he was even worse. I mean, this is the guy that took the Super Cup to Saudi Arabia and just for money, and he pocketed some of that money and dodgy deals everywhere. And eventually, he was fired for kissing that female player. But check this out. Before he was fired, he was suspended. Okay, and he appointed one of his mates to keep his seat warm, basically. But then he was fully fired. And then the guy he had appointed thought, well, now I have the authority. And he fired somebody else when he couldn't. So he was fired himself. So now we have no president, and there's going to be an election in December. But you see, the problem is the people are going for the position are the presidents of the regional branches, and they are all as bad as each other.
Yeah.
So I look, it is a disgrace. So that's one thing. That's the Spanish Soccer Federation, which is terrible. And the other thing, you're going to allow me to talk about Barcelona, because they are a really, really bad club in many ways. We know now that they paid 7.3 million euros for 17 years to the vice president of the referees. Now, this is the guy who made the decisions as to what referees went to first division, second division, which is a huge difference in wages, or to World Cups and Euros, etc. Barcelona said that they were paying that money for some reports that don't exist. The only thing that they were able to produce was one sheet of paper with spelling mistakes and coffee stains. So those reports don't exist. So in fact, they've admitted that what they were buying for that money, 7.3 million euros, it was a service of lobbying, a service of influencing the competition. So all that is under investigation. As far as I'm concerned, they should go to third division. I don't care, like Rangers or Juventus in Italy. 3 of the last 4 presidents have been prosecuted.
Yeah.
They when they signed Neymar, you see, when they signed Neymar, Real Madrid were going for Neymar as well. And Florentino Perez, the Real Madrid president, said, we can't sign Neymar because he will go up to 130 million, something like that. And Barcelona said, oh, we'll sign him for 45 million. So 45 million, really? So it's all these dodgy deals.
Yeah.
And I mean, they mortgage their marketing or their TV studios or something like that. Mm-hmm. And they said that was income in order to balance the books, and UEFA didn't accept that either. So there is a lot of corruption. And if there is another thing apart from the values of never giving up, etc., that Real Madrid have, is that their books are always balanced. Always balanced. Okay. And yeah, they go out and buy really expensive players, Zidane, Figo, Ronaldo, but they balance the books. You see, a player, as far as I'm concerned, is not expensive because of how much you pay for him, but how much you pay minus how much he produces. Exactly. So say Eden Hazard, we paid 100 million and he produced 20. He was an expensive player. Mm-hmm. Beckham produced in 3 months a quarter of what Real Madrid paid for him. So he wasn't expensive. So that's the way Real Madrid always try to balance the books. Well, Barcelona just don't care. They have a debt of 1,200 million, I think, and they just don't care. They keep going. Going. So there's a lot of corruption. And they've always, 7.3 million, as I said, to the vice presidents of the referees, they've been helped. Of course, they did never give a brown envelope to a referee and bought a game, but they were buying influence. For 2 years, for 2 full seasons, they did not get a penalty against. What are the chances?
Yeah, come on.
So there is a lot of corruption in Spain.
Whenever you dress it up, brown envelope or otherwise, 7.3 million to a referee, governing body or head of it, whatever way you dress it up, that's corrupt. No,
absolutely. They were influencing the competition. There's zero doubt about it.
Yeah.
And they actually admitted, but they say, "Oh no, well, we felt mistreated by the referees, so we were just trying to balance things out." Okay.
Fair enough.
So look, it's under investigation. We don't know when the whole investigation will finish. It might take several more months. We'll see. Right. We'll see where it goes.
Okay.
But you see, the president of Barcelona now, a guy called Joan Laporta, he quadrupled the money they were giving the vice president of the referees. Okay. Now this guy Laporta got a round of applause at the Ballon d'Or for making Barcelona such a big club. I don't understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I don't get it.
It sounds familiar, actually, with the Premiership. It sounds
familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sounds very familiar. Pabs, I can feel your passion about Real Madrid coming out. It's incredible. It really is, and very interesting. I could talk to you all night about it. You have an appointment with AC Milan, I think, in about 25 minutes. Give us a prediction before you leave us. AC Milan tonight, what's the score going to be?
Look, Real Madrid haven't been playing that well this season. They haven't clicked yet. And obviously, they lost the Clásico 4-0. Now, I think they could have been 2-0 up by halftime. But the thing is, they haven't been playing that well. I think this is the game to actually say, look, this is who we are. So I'm going to predict a victory for Real Madrid. I'm going to predict 3-1.
Okay.
Thank
Well,
you.
as soon as the podcast
with
is over,
Mbappe scoring and Vinicius scoring.
Okay,
Very
that's
good.
a sound prediction. Well, I'm going to, when this is over and done with, I'm going to scoot up and hopefully we'll get as entertaining a match as we did the last night when I picked up in the second half.
Yeah.
Pablo, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Pleasure.
I can sense your passion, as I say, and I've really enjoyed hearing all about the Spanish football. We'll maybe do it again in the future.
I would love to. And if you have people that want to ask me questions about Real Madrid, obviously, look, I'm not a journalist. I don't know a lot about Real Madrid, but I'm in touch with the Spanish media and things like that. So if people want to ask questions, just pass them on.
We are going to do a special some night where we got a Man United, Chelsea, and maybe yourself on, and we're just going to put links on where people can come on and ask us any question they want. As they show their face in the podcast the same way as you kindly have done tonight, and come on and speak in front of the camera and say, give us their questions and stuff. So Pablo, thank you very much indeed. I wish you good luck tonight in the league. I will probably see you on Thursday night at our usual appointment, and I wish you well in the season as well.
Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. And look, a la Madrid, as we say.
Okay.
Pablo, thank you very much indeed.
See you guys.
We'll talk to you. Thank you. Take care, buddy. Take care.
Okay. Fascinating. I hope no
absolutely fascinating. Absolutely brilliant. I enjoyed that. Did you enjoy that, Paul? He's a great guest.
Very much so. Very passionate guy, and some insights, and certainly the animosity between Barca and Real. You can feel it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure of all the detail. I'm not. I believe what Pablo's telling us, and there may be another angle on that. We may get sometime, but very interesting. Very interesting for the team that's probably 15 European Cups and Champions Leagues. Some team.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on.
So we'll do Emerald Eye now. I've done a wee graphics, so just don't jump in. Let me just play my wee graphic, and then you can come in afterwards, Colin. Okay.
Well, what I do want to say is, following my plea, as it was on Emerald Eye a couple of weeks ago, probably was. This has come up, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Mason Melia, Spurs. I'm delighted to say are interested in an Irish teen sensation, Mason Melia. I think 17. He's had 10 goals and about 50 appearances for St Patrick's Athletic. Spurs will have to wait really until he's 18. But it feels like I've been listening to our podcast a few weeks ago, and hopefully that will sort itself out. There's a little bit of detail of this guy, and I'm very excited.
Has he signed for you?
Well, no, but Spurs are the name interested, and hopefully they will make the right moves and get whatever commitment they can get. Other English league clubs, a few of them interested, and the point is generally that English league clubs getting interested again is a good idea. I would love it to be Spurs, but if not, if it's somebody else, that this guy could go into the English league and get a career for himself, it can only be good for him, his family, the national team, and for all the kids coming through. I think it strengthens the League of Ireland or the Irish League, whichever it might be, because players will play with an incentive, and that's my opinion. So good luck to him. Emerald Eye will keep an eye on you, and we wish you all the best with that signing and in your career.
Excellent. Because I did look at him today, just laterally in the afternoon, and I seen him. I thought he was holding up, and I'm not winding you up. I thought he was holding up an Arsenal sort of signing. Maybe that was. I don't know.
St Pat's playing that.
Oh, right.
They play in red shirts and white. I think it's white sleeves. Okay. They're playing.
I was certain it was Arsenal. Well, I hope you get him.
Thanks for bringing that up anyway.
Yeah. Fantasy football. We're 10 weeks in.
Oh dear.
Yeah, you're second bottom. Cal's bottom. Jack Ryan is sitting first. Taken away from Tim Houston, who's second, and Shane Robinson third. I will say that last week, the week it was in it, I had Eze and somebody else and both were injured and didn't play, and I didn't get a
Right.
chance to substitute them out. But anyway, I still managed to hold my position in 17th, so I'm happy with that. We'll look at that in more detail as we go along.
Yeah, obviously that week has cost me terribly. Otherwise, I'd be in the Champions League positions, I think.
Yeah, of course, without a doubt.
But anyway, thanks for quickly on.
Yeah.
Note of concern. I just wanted to mention one, Paul, that I'd done a few weeks ago. And we're talking about the managers of Luton, excuse me, and Crystal Palace. If you remember, it's concerned with two.
I remember you mentioned it. Yeah.
Yeah, two newish, youngish managers who great things were spoken of. Previous season, Glasner coming over from, abroad. I was worried at the time. Both Luton and Palace weren't doing well. Needless to say, Palace got the first one against Spurs, of course, but they've picked up. So have Luton, and I hope that both boards keep faith and let these guys show how good they are. I think they're both quality. I think the respective leagues need them, and sometimes managers need a bit of time to work it out. So, my note of concern, in a way, is to say that our concern, hopefully, in this case, has been proven unfounded.
Yeah. Just a quick one. During the week we were off, Eric Ten Hag finally got the bullet. He's gone. I'd be interested to hear anybody what they think of their new manager, any Man United. I know there's 3 or 4 people listening, Man United. I don't. Do you know much about this guy, Colin?
He was. He's very articulate. He's 39. Pardon me. He's one of the. Ronaldo, I think, refers to him as the poet because of his command of the language. He's managed a couple of other teams before and worked his way up. Real Brava and Braga, I think it was, and worked his way up to Sporting. Now, his immediate record is very similar to Ten Hag's immediate record with Ajax prior to joining United.
Yeah.
But one thing he's done that I might notice is that, like Ferguson, he's broken the domination of Porto and Benfica. And that's not, easy to do.
Yeah.
Ferguson did it with Aberdeen, of course.
Yes, he did.
So there must be something about him. They're playing tonight against City, interestingly. Yeah. So watch this space. I'll be interested to see how he does. Mixed feelings, of course, but United seem certain about him. Others will know that he spoke, or maybe it was mentioned in the same breath as Liverpool at the start of the season and also with West Ham. Neither came off. He wanted to stay to the end of the season with Sporting, but allegedly United said, it's now or never.
Yeah.
That's
I heard that, read that as well.
A young guy. So good luck to him, in a manner of speaking.
Yeah, I at risk of sounding like I'm beating up Man United, I watched the match the other night, and I really don't know how he's got a hard job ahead of him, pulling that group of players together to get them playing as a unit. They seem to be all over the place.
Yeah.
And as I said to somebody in a text, somewhere in a sick part of my mind, I want to see Man United doing well again, and I can't see where they're going to come from. I don't know where they're going to. And I can't see how they're going to do it with this current group of players. And
I suppose he wouldn't have got the job, if they had been playing well. So
yeah, I know that, but you would have to think that something has to change. You would think something has to give, or something has to change, or is he going to recruit a whole pile of new players now? He's bringing 5 of his own.
He may go into the January window,
Yeah,
which is not good for United because it's like starting all over again. Spurs have had that in the past.
There lies the worry for them.
Yeah.
It's the big story of the week.
He will have to clear somehow. I think they're prepared.
Final go at the puzzler. If anybody wants to have a guess at it. The villains, who is known as the villains. I actually didn't know this. I didn't know this.
I do. I think I do. Nobody know it?
No, nobody's come in yet. Give it a couple of seconds. Okay. Preview. We'll do the preview of the games ahead, Colin. Okay. If anybody wants to jump in and tell us who the villains are, who's referred to as the villains. Well, fixtures as we go ahead for the weekend. Are you confident, Colin? You should be. You've got Ipswich, I think, have you?
Yeah, I have to be, given what's happened at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in recent weeks, and given. But no, one thing I will say, Ipswich haven't won this season. Go to play Spurs. It always used to be the same. If you haven't won, play Spurs. you haven't scored for 6 weeks, play against Spurs. You know, I hope we're losing that damn curse. And I think it would be a mini statement by Spurs to win. It may help their league position. So I'm going for that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Any you want to take it?
I would take a draw right now, but I think we can keep on going, and I think we can win. I think we can win against Newcastle.
Newcastle are struggling. They are desperate for momentum, and that will be interesting because the big win against Arsenal will help them. But you know, Forest are on the crest of a wave.
They are, and momentum's everything, Colin. Momentum is absolutely everything, and I think that we have a good structure. I think that we're playing well. Chris Wood is on fire, unbelievable. We have Moreno that we got from Villa, incredible as well. So no, I'm confident we can get a win. Then the next few games,
I think of the other games, I think the usual suspects will win. For me, again, down at the bottom, the big game is Wolves. I think Saints. Yeah, it could be the trap door for whoever loses there. You know, I am very impressed by Gary O'Neill and Russell Martin to a lesser extent, but it's getting difficult.
I think Gary O'Neill, I think he's in terrible luck, but it's looking dodgy for him, Colin. It has to start looking dodgy soon.
Yeah, but here's hoping. Although I don't want either of those teams to lose. If they draw, probably there's nobody, neither of them any good. Yeah. We'll all see. We'll see.
So there's the answer to Dennis McCarthy's. Yes. Is that the same answer you had for the Villains?
Yes, that's the Villains, yeah.
Same answers I had. I don't know how that passed me by over the years. Sorry, that's Mason Media. Sorry, that's it there. Aston Villa, well done, Dennis. Thanks for joining us. Guys, thank you very much. Colin, I don't know if you've anything else for us. I would just like to say thank you very much to all the kind messages I got over this last number of weeks or number of days and this week. I want to thank Pablo. I thoroughly enjoyed his input tonight into the Spanish League. I don't know if you've anything else for us, Colin.
No, just say, Paul, good to have you back, my friend. And we'll see you next week. We'll talk.
That'll do. Guys, thanks for listening. If you would do us a favor, if you would like us, like the podcast in the YouTube app and give us give us a wee push. Pablo's just come in there. Thanks, lads. Great chat. Pablo, thank you. Absolutely astounding guest. Very interesting. And we'll have you on again in the future, my friend. Colin, I'll say good night to you and thanks very much indeed, guys. Have a good week and we'll chat to you next week. Stay safe.